Hello everyone, this is going to be a review of mitosis and the cell cycle. Okay, so mitosis is a type of cell division where one cell divides into two identical cells. So if we drew that and we made it look very simple, it would just be like this. So you have one cell with a nucleus, and it is dividing into two separate cells. Okay, and those separate cells are going to be smaller. Okay. All right. So now right here, this is going to be the parent cell, and below you have the two daughter cells, which are completely identical because DNA has replicated, and a copy of the DNA was given to both daughter cells. So the cell cycle, the three phases of the cell cycle, the cell cycle is the three phases of the cell's life cycle. Interphase, mitosis, and cytokinesis are those phases. So if we draw, I'm going to try to make a nice circle here. So if we draw this, we can make the cell cycle look like a pie chart. So let's say right here is our starting point. Okay, so right here to about here. This is going to be the part of the cell cycle that we are going to call interphase. Okay, and interphase it can be broken up into three phases. Okay, so hold on, this will make sense in a moment. So I'm going to draw arrows. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so from here to here to here, and then finally to here. That's all going to be interphase. Okay, we will get back to this little piece of the chart in a second. But this is going to be, interphase is broken up into three parts. There's the G1, there's the S phase, and then there's the G2 phase. During G1 phase, this is the phase where the cell is growing. And it's just getting larger, so it's healthy and it's living and it's getting nutrients, things that it needs, and it's growing. So that's why they call it G1. Now, S stands for DNA synthesis. So during the S phase, DNA is replicated. So DNA doubles. Okay, the amount of DNA in the cell doubles. Okay, so that's what happens in the S phase, DNA synthesis or replication. And G2 is where the cell is preparing for mitosis. So that is those three phases, G1, S, and G2 in that order, is part of interphase. Okay, that makes up interphase. Now mitosis is this part of the pie right here. So we're going to split this up actually. So PMAT, which we'll talk about more, but PMAT stands for prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, which are the four parts of mitosis. And then cytokinesis, I'm just going to write a C right here for cytokinesis. Okay, so the cell starts in interphase and it spends most of its life in interphase. Once it is able, it will enter into mitosis, and then that's when the nucleus will divide. And then cytokinesis is then where when the cytoplasm will then divide, giving you two separate cells from one. Okay, all right, next slide. So prophase is going to look like this. We're going to draw each phase of mitosis. So PMAT, and prophase is the first one. So here we have a cell, okay? And what's going to happen to our cell is originally you're going to have a nucleus, but the nucleus is going to actually disappear. But you're going to have DNA in the form of chromosomes. So I'm going to start drawing these X's to represent chromosomes. And there's really no order or anything to these, to where I'm placing these, okay? And then the centrioles are beginning to migrate to the opposite ends of the cell. And what I like to tell students is the centrioles migrate to the poles. So the poles being the opposite ends of the cell. So this centriole is moving this way. This centriole is moving this way. okay? And they're starting to form spindle fibers. And these are these little tiny microfibers, little muscle fibers that are eventually going to connect to the chromosomes, okay? So you have the spindle fibers, you have the centrioles here, and then you have the chromosomes in the middle, okay? So that's prophase. And notice there is no nucleus. So before, while the cell was in interphase, all the DNA was inside of the nucleus, and the DNA was in the form of chromatin, which kind of just looked like spaghetti in the nucleus. But now we have chromosomes. Okay, that is prophase. All right, next phase. We have metaphase. So during metaphase, what happens here is you have your cell, and the chromosomes are going to line up right in the middle of the cell and in a very nice, neat order. And we are going to say that they line up along the equator. The equator is this invisible line. We're not even going to draw it, but it goes from here to here. It splits the cell in half, okay? And so that's where the chromosomes are. Now, the centrioles are over here, okay? And the centrioles are, again, they are connected to the spindle fibers. And they are then, the spindle fibers connect to the centromere. Now, if we draw a chromosome, okay, this is the best we can do here. Okay, so this is our chromosome, the X-like organelle that contains DNA. Right here, right in the middle, that is the centromere, okay? Right there, that thing. And that holds the chromosome together, okay? And it also connects to the spindle fibers. So let me finish drawing these, okay? Now, metaphase, you can remember that because metaphase, the chromosomes are in the middle. Okay, so now, when I tell students to imagine and to visually see metaphase, I tell them to do this. Okay, this. So this is prophase. So you can see the. I'm gonna get rid of this. You can see the chromosomes. Metaphase, you do this. So the chromosomes are my fingers here, and they're all lined up in the middle. So this is metaphase. Now the spindle fibers here are pulling on the chromosome. So eventually what's going to happen is they are going to split. Okay, they're going to split. And let's draw that. That is going to be anaphase. So during anaphase, now we are going to draw a cell that's a little bit longer. Okay, and we have our centrioles. They are still there. Okay, and then we have what it's going to look like this. So like that, you have half chromosomes. In other words, sister chromatids. Okay, and anaphase is defined as the chromosomes, the sister chromatids, being split and then pulled to opposite ends. So the spindle fibers are becoming shorter, and they're pulling the chromosomes apart. So they're pulling them apart. Now the chromosomes are moving to opposite ends of the cell. Okay, that's anaphase. And then last one, now we have telophase. And that is going to look like this. So the cell is still very long. Now a lot happens during telophase. So you have the chromosomes are on both sides. So you have 4 there, and you have 4 there. Now, what's going to happen is the centrioles and the spindle fibers disappear, but a nucleus forms around both sets of chromosomes. So now you have an extra large cell with 2 nuclei. Yeah, you have a cell with 2 nuclei for a while, okay? And then actually the nucleolus reappears, okay? That nucleolus is going to be that dark dot there where ribosomes are made. So that's going to reappear as well, okay? So, as a little review, okay, so you have interphase, all right? The DNA is in the middle, and it just looks like spaghetti, okay? It's in the form of chromatin. Prophase, you have the chromosomes in the nucleus. So you have those X-like organelles that have the DNA that are now in the nucleus. Prometaphase is, so we didn't say the word prometaphase, but it's kind of the area in between pro and metaphase, okay? And that's kind of when now the nucleus is gone, because that dissolves during prophase, and now the spindle fibers are starting to connect and move the chromosomes. Metaphase, the chromosomes are in the middle. Anaphase, the chromosomes are being pulled apart. And then telophase, you almost have two cells, but not quite yet. So what happens during telophase is, what happens during cytokinesis, which follows telophase, is now that you have a cell with two nuclei, you're going to have the membrane split right here. And so you have a ring of microfilaments that are going to squeeze. They're going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and they're going to squeeze the cell membrane so that it eventually forms two cell membranes, giving you two daughter cells. For plant cells, it's a little different. You have vesicles that are eventually going to line up and form the cell plate, and the cell plate will then form the cell wall, giving you two separate plant cells. And once you have two daughter cells, plant or animal, those cells are now in interphase. They're back in interphase, and they might even start the whole cell cycle all over again. All right, I hope that helps. Thank you.